Hello, this is Dr. Alan Yim. In this video, I am going to show you how to write the dominant sub 6 chord or the dominant 7th sub 6. Okay, so as you can see, I have both of the Roman numeral symbols for this chord, and I will do this again in C major to keep everything simple. Basically, this chord means that instead of having the fifth of the chord, it's root third, and then we have a sub 6, which, as you might imagine, means that we're going to substitute la or lay in the scale, the 6th degree of the scale, for the fifth of the chord. Now, if we write a triad, you're going to notice something right away. Okay, first of all, normally we put this part of the chord at the top of when we voice it. So first of all, I'll put here G sub 6, and down here I'll put 5 sub 6, and let's see what it looks like in C major. Okay, so G, of course, normally you double the root in A. So G, B, G. Now I'm going to put the D on top instead of E. Alright, so it looks like this. Sorry, I just said that backwards, didn't I? Alright, I'm going to put the E on top instead of the D. So we have G, B, E. Now, here's the thing about this chord. You expect it to go to 1, and indeed it will. So here we go. I'm going to just do like this. Okay. Now, whoops, actually, it's not going to go like that because the sub 6 normally resolves like this. It's going to leap down to the tonic. Okay, so it's going to go down like that. And then we could put the rest of the chord in. Alright. And judging from what I see here, I'm going to need to have, okay, I'm going to have to do this. Let's try this, see if this works. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so maybe the chord that comes before is a 5 chord. So actually, let me voice it then. Okay, that's the sound of the sub 6. Normally before the chord, you will have the normal fifth here. So this is the typical. So the fifth, you'll see before it like this, and that's where it will sound like in the melody. Now, very important warning here. When you're doing analysis of this, you may look at this chord and recognize that it looks like E minor over G. So you may be tempted to go 3-6 or something like this. Okay, this is absolutely not what this chord is. It is not functioning as a 3 chord, and in fact we know that we don't see 3 chord very often. So now you know. If you see this in kind of odd looking chord that looks like 3, check for a 5 sub 6, and that's what this is. Okay, so even though you do have EGB, it's not functioning like that. It's functioning as a dominant. Okay. Now, if you have the 7th chord, this becomes a little bit interesting in terms of the voicing. So very important, when you have the 5-7 sub 6. Okay, I'll put this in green. The 6th goes above the 7th. Okay. This is super important because if you don't do it, it's going to sound really bad. And I'll write both versions. So let's write the normal version first, which is G7 sub 6. So this time we're making it a 7th chord. So I have to make sure I have all parts of the chord. Maybe I'll write it a little bit differently. We know we need this time GBD, GBDF, but I'm going to take out the D and I'm going to replace it with E. So I'll put the E again up at the top, and now I have to have a G, a B, and an F. So here we have the 7th. Now notice here, because, well, let's just see how this resolves. So we're going to resolve this to 1, and again, let me erase this. Let's get this out of here. So the soprano, again, is going to leap down to the tonic, and then the 7th, you all know, is going to step down like that, and then, of course, the bass, let's just keep it in root position, so we're going to end up on a C chord, and then we need to have a G. Okay, don't forget that the 7th resolves down by step. That's very important. So we get the upper part sounds like this. Okay, it's pretty dissonant sounding, but with everything here, sounds pretty nice. Now, let's see what happens if we switch this around a little bit. And all I'm going to do is switch the 2 notes so you can hear what it sounds like if you put the sub 6 above. Alright, so instead of, I'm going to put the 7th on top of the chord like this, and actually, to make it a little bit more fair, because it's gonna be an octave too much space there. Let's just try putting the 7th, how about here? Okay, so there's the 7th. The sub 6, which is the E, I'll put it down here in the tenor. And what do we need? We need a B. Okay. So here it is. This time we have the 7th above. Let's get rid of that. We have the sub 6 below. Okay, I'll even resolve it so we can see how it sounds. You're not going to want to use this, but alright, again, the 7th will resolve down by step. The sub 6 is going to leap down, and then we need a G. Uh-oh. Okay, so this isn't too pretty because the alto is getting really down there, but the alto could sing that, no problem. Okay, here's what it sounds like, but the 7th above the sub 6. So, you can hear pretty bad. Alright, in this version, I am able to switch it. So again, don't do this, but instead, here, this will be fair, because I can do this, and I'll put this here. All I'm doing is switching these 2 around, and you'll see it'll sound much better. So here, we're going to switch these 2 voices. Now, we'll put the sub 6 back on top, and we'll put the 7th back down below. And here's what it sounds like if I do it this way. Okay, so much better. This is the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so before it sounded like this, and then, okay. So I don't think it's going to take much convincing that the sub 6 should go on top. Now you can of course do this in minor as well. So let's just suppose, let's see, sub 6 in C minor. I'll just write the key signature in here like this, and it should sound pretty nice. Okay, of course I'm not going to use this version. I'll play the second version. So, minor. Let's see. I fooled myself. Okay, don't forget, in minor, we're going to have to raise that up. And, oh, whoops. Yikes. This, of course, is supposed to be a C. Okay. I don't know why I put that like that. Okay, it's not like this. Oh, I see what I did, because I didn't correct this. Let's fix this. Okay. After you switch it around, of course, you have to switch the resolution. The 7th goes down by a step. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's it in minor. And again, in major. Both sound really nice. Alright, what does it sound like in a piece of music? Well, here's a little bit of Schumann. It's very easy to recognize this because you have this step from the 5th of the 5 chord, or whatever chord has, then you have this, what would be the 5th normally, going up to the sub 6, and then back down to do. So you'll always see this pattern: re, mi, do, or re, me, do in minor. So I said that wrong. You'll see this pattern of, okay, in this case it's re, me, do, or re. Okay, so this is minor though. Okay, so what if Schumann had chose not to put a sub-6 there? Well, then, of course, the melody would have stayed on the fifth, like this. Okay, vastly inferior sounding. All right, I'll play one last one. Here's a little bit of Schumann again. Okay, this happens to be B major, so you get a feel for the major. And then, but there's a lot of stuff in between those two chords, so that's the sub-6. But here's what he does with it. So he gives a little minor 4 there. Sounds a little plagal, of course. All right, that's it for the sub-6. I hope this explains on how to write the chord. Again, remember to put the sub-6 at the top in the melody. The note that comes before is the regular, the fifth of the dominant, and then it goes to the sub-6, and then it resolves by leaping down to do. Always put the sub-6 above the 7th of the chord if you're using a dominant 7th, and I think you'll be good. And of course, if you have a triad and you're analyzing something, if you see 3-1, specifically 3-6-1, very likely that you have met a sub-6, a 5 sub-6. Thanks for watching.